I know most tech geeks love to hate on the iPhone SE, but the sales figures tell a different story. The iPhone SE 2 was number 8 in Counterpoint's list of the top 10 selling phones of 2021. For context, of the 7 iPhones in that list, there was no iPhone 12 mini or the iPhone 13 mini. Possibly the reason why a lot of the analysts are saying that the mini will be killed off this year. And in place of which will come a bigger phone, the iPhone 14 Max. The real mini phone for Apple and the masses out there is actually the iPhone SE. And this is the iPhone SE 3rd gen or iPhone SE 2022, a tiny update over the iPhone SE 2 or the iPhone SE 2020. And I am Ershad and you're watching Trakin Tech English. Let's find out who should buy this phone or who should buy this one. First things first, the iPhone SE 3 is actually taller, wider and heavier than the iPhone 12 mini. And the iPhone 12 mini also offers more screen estate. Plus, this 5.4-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display can also touch a peak brightness of 1200 nits, which means that it also gets HDR10 support and Dolby Vision as well. In comparison, the iPhone SE 3 has a smaller 4.7-inch IPS LCD panel, which looks very pale in comparison to the iPhone 12 mini because the iPhone SE 3 can only reach a top brightness of 625 nits. Plus, there are massive bezels on the top and the bottom, as we are already aware. The less said about it, the better. For what it is worth, though, the iPhone SE 3 has IP67 rating compared to the iPhone 12 mini, which is IP68 rating. Not that it makes much of a difference in daily usage, so yeah, that's a good thing. But you know what will make a lot of difference in real life, at least for us working for Trakin Tech English? If you hit that red subscribe button and maybe even the bell icon right next to it, and maybe even like and comment below for the YouTube algorithm gods. Now, one of the many reasons why anybody would want an iPhone SE over an iPhone 12, actually over any other iPhone, could also be because of the familiarity that they have with the home button or the TouchID home button, which actually is very fast to unlock the phone compared to Face ID. Although I must mention, with the 15.4 update on the iPhone 12 mini with Face ID, you can actually unlock even if you're wearing a mask. While I know that most people who are planning on buying the iPhone SE 3rd gen are probably coming from the iPhone SE 2nd gen or the earlier iPhone SE, or even the iPhone 8 for that matter, I had to seriously rejig my memory because iOS on the iPhone SE is completely different from any other iPhone available in the market today. I had to remember that the control center has to be actually pulled up from the bottom, and of course there are no gestures either. Plus, if you have to actually invoke the multitasking carousel, you have to double tap on the home button. But you know what the best feature of the iPhone SE is that you can actually take a look at the battery percentage on the top panel. You can't do that on an iPhone with a notch because you have to slide down from the right. As for the stereo speaker setup on both the phones, we tested it out and it sounds very similar in the sense that both sound full, dynamic and rich. But I did feel that the iPhone SE was slightly louder. Take a listen for yourself. And when you look at the haptic feedback on these phones, which is something that Apple does really well, the vibration strength is very similar. Now, the iPhone SE 3rd gen comes with the A15 Bionic chip, which is also inside the iPhone 13 series. Now, this chip is obviously more powerful than the A14 Bionic inside the iPhone 12 mini. Therefore, you get higher scores in benchmarks like Antutu and Geekbench. And more importantly, I was looking at the GPU stability, and therefore I ran the 3D Mark Wildlife stress test. And both of these phones offer very similar stability. But of course, the iPhone SE 3 with A15 Bionic offers better GPU performance. What really caught my attention in that graphics test was the fact that the iPhone SE 2022 actually dropped 16% battery life compared to 15% battery life on the iPhone 12 mini. Now, this means that both these phones have very similar battery life, just like Apple claims. In fact, I did notice that the iPhone SE 2022 offered slightly better battery life compared to the iPhone SE 2020. And I got about 3/4 of a day, which is still not great, but it is better. So when you're buying a small phone, it goes without saying that you have to actually be okay with, trade-off of battery life. That's something that happens on the iPhone SE 3 as well. Obviously, when it comes to fast charging, both these phones are nowhere close to Android phones these days. You get a max charging speed of 20 watts and it can charge from 0 to 50% in about 13 minutes, which is not too bad. Also get Qi wireless charging support on both these phones. Plus you get MagSafe support on the iPhone 12 mini, which gives it a bit of of an advantage because you get slightly more, trademarked accessories with it. Now, if you keep the benchmarks aside, what matters is the real life gaming performance. And that's where I would say that the 12 mini is definitely a better phone than the iPhone SE 3rd generation. That's primarily because of the fact that you get more screen estate and therefore the controls are easier to access and not cramped up like they are on the iPhone SE. Although I do like the fact that the iPhone SE 3rd gen doesn't heat up as much as the iPhone SE 2020 or even the iPhone 12 mini. So if you're looking at a phone that doesn't heat up too much while you're playing, then maybe the iPhone SE is good for you. But then again, I think that screen estate would matter more. Now let's compare the cameras, which is basically 2 on the iPhone 12 mini and 1 on the iPhone SE. What you get on the iPhone 12 mini is a night mode, which is not available on the iPhone SE 3. Evidently, the low light pictures are better looking on the 12 mini as a result. Also, if you're wondering if the quad LED flash means better pictures on the SE 3, then that's not really the case. There's a red eye effect in the SE shot and there's far less noise too in the 12 mini. Plus, you get the ultra wide angle camera on the iPhone 12 mini. An extra camera is always useful and ultra wide is always great. People shots are generally better on the iPhone SE. I saw better facial tones and more accurate colors compared to the 12 mini. But yes, details and dynamic range performance are better on the 12 mini. In portraits, however, the 12 mini just smokes the iPhone SE when it comes to edge detection, as you can tell from the space in between the hands. Also, the 12 mini's main camera has a wider focal length lens of 26mm compared to 28mm on the iPhone SE 3. But the details in daylight shots are equally sharp on both the phones. There's no major difference as such. However, photographic styles on the SE 3 is definitely a huge advantage and helps you pick a look for your photos. Deep Fusion, on the other hand, which is now enabled on the iPhone SE 3, is also available on the iPhone 12 mini, so there's not much of a difference there really. Dynamic range performance is very similar on both these phones except for that lens flare from the 12 mini, which happens from time to time on the iPhone SE 3 as well, so that's not something I'd worry too much about. Now, despite the 7-megapixel camera, selfies look great and equally good on the SE 3. That said, technically the 12 mini has an advantage with sharper textures and a wider field of view. And when it comes to video recording, again the iPhone 12 mini has an advantage because it can shoot 4K 60 FPS, which is also possible on the SE 3, but you cannot shoot Dolby Vision, which you can do on the 12 mini. Plus the 12 mini can also shoot 4K 60 FPS from the front camera, which is not possible on the iPhone SE 3. Having said that, the iPhone SE 3's video recording quality is actually very, very good. It's just that the iPhone 12 mini is even better. The iPhone SE 3 is definitely far better at video recording compared to many other Android flagships in this price range. So when you look at it, the iPhone SE 3 is catering to a very specific set of users. They're averse to change, they don't want to spend too much, and they don't want to miss out on the familiarity of that home button. But for a few thousands more, the iPhone 12 mini definitely offers way more value if you ask me, especially when you look at that excellent display and better camera performance. However, we all know from what I said in the introduction, there's more of an audience for the SE compared to the mini. And it is the mini that will be dead in the future, not the SE. So what do you folks think of the iPhone SE 3? Are you planning on buying one? Because I'd definitely like to know that. Until next time, this is Ashad signing off. Keep tracking and stay safe.